Hey, friends. One of the themes of Jesus' life is going to be that relationships are greater than the rules. And that might seem counterintuitive to when you think about Christianity and the church people that you know. But as we read the story of Jesus, we're going to see this play out time and time again. We've been in the story in John chapter 2, verses 1 to 11. You should read that. But we're going to read verses 6 to 8 real quick. Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So he filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned to wine, though he did not realize where it come from, but the servants who had drawn the water knew. See, what this is whenever the Jewish people would get together, they would have this kind of washing ceremony to show that they were obeying the law. It was a tradition that they had. And Jesus takes that and he tells the people, look, there's the jars that are for the ceremonial washing, fill that up to the brim. He takes the law, the traditions, and he turns it into a party. See, this is what he used to rectify the situation that the people were going through right now. He takes this 1,000-year-old tradition and he just flips it on its head. See, this wouldn't be the only time that he would do something like this. The idea of ceremonial washing was going to follow him throughout the story. The idea of the Sabbath law was going to follow him throughout his story. There were certain traditions that the Jewish nation would view as part of their culture that Jesus was going to go, that's important, but what's more important is the people that those were created to serve. And then he would sidestep the tradition and help the people. See, it was a subtle way of letting people know that there was a new kingdom being established. It was no longer going to be the Jews versus the Gentiles, right, everybody else. It was going to be Jesus and anyone who decided to follow him. Obeying or not obeying the Jewish law, it wasn't going to be a factor in somebody's relationship with God anymore. Jesus, and the reason was just because the people that were trying to obey the law made the law more important than alleviating suffering and serving and caring for the people that they were around. They thought their religious duty was more important. And so Jesus lived a life that just tried to reverse that whole thing, to let people know that my Heavenly Father, Jesus talking, and our Heavenly Father, right, because Jesus calls those who are following him brothers and sisters, our Heavenly Father, what he actually wants for us is to respect the rules, to follow them, but when they get in the way of loving somebody or caring for somebody, we're supposed to do that. His most famous story is you've probably heard of the idea of the Good Samaritan. That's exactly what it's about. That these people were on their way, and we'll talk about it in more depth later, but these people were on their way to do their religious obligation, their religious duty, but there was some suffering that was happening, and the person that got it right was the one that went and took care of the person. See, that's how Jesus lived. In the last video we said he lived a life of others first, right? In this one we're saying that relationships always have to be greater than the rules, right? I hope it blessed you. Have a beautiful day. We'll talk to you next time.